All right. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Williamson County Board of Commissioners meeting today. It's Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. It's 1:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Racer.
Present.
Starting off with old business. I had a call in with our insurance carrier, and we will get some information from him that I hope to bring back to you guys, with some recommendations on that. I know it's been on our agenda for some time, and hopefully we come to a conclusion on that. On the Hope Trust board member, I still have not heard from the state's attorney on that. Have either of you heard anything from the state's attorney? Any other old business? Moving on down to new business. Ashley brought to us the Wex card agreement, and I think he talked to both of you about that. You guys got any comments or anything else? This card would be a card that will centralize all the purchases and all the billing, make it more convenient. Plus, I believe it will save us some money.
I think it's a pretty good program. How widespread is this? We've heard from at least one manager that doesn't want it.
Okay. It is as wide as we want it.
As we want it.
Any office owner who has county vehicles can get into this and participate in it.
Can being the operative word, not forced to.
No, I'm not forcing anybody into this. And actually, I had a conversation with Ashley about that very thing. I think once we get some experience with this, I think everybody's going to see it's actually going to save them some budget money. So if they're interested in making their gas dollars go farther, they may want to get involved in this. So, and at any time, we can add someone, any office to this.
And personally, I get tired of saying the late fees because their payment is so tight. And I understand we get 18 extra days to
Yeah,
make the payment. So we should beat some of those late fees.
right.
Help out.
And one thing about the building, each department will have its own dedicated portion in the bill, so they can see how much is coming out and where their gas budget is. I personally, I think it's a good idea.
You look at the, where it's accepted, and there's a tremendous number of sites for this card to be used.
Yeah.
Can I ask on the billing, is it going to be to each office or is it as the county as a whole?
If I understood Ashley correctly, it's going to come in as a bill to the county, but it's broken out into the offices, so each office gets their own station.
And each office is going to submit their, I'm just trying to think about how it comes to my office to do the checks.
I believe that's the way that's going to be.
And I would think that if we wanted, it would put us in a position as we budget, not for this year, but as we budget, we can change that structure.
We can.
Bring that
yes.
money back from the offices, put it in the county in general, and just pay the one bill
Right, we can bring that back and we can tell the commissioners that we pay that from there.
if we want.
If we decided we want to. Right. And once again, the word is how we control it. If we want that control, we don't want that control. The commissioner's decision at that point. And there's another reason why this is such a good idea. I know that in the past, when it's come to some gas entrances, we paid sales tax on that. We all know what the state sales tax is on gas, so we get it, we're not paying it. So you guys have read through this, you talked about it. Is there a motion to approve the plans? What's that, Travis?
Are you saying that you don't pay state sales tax?
I'm making it. We don't pay tax. I don't know. Are we paying state sales tax on that? Because I thought we were.
I
I think you do. You know, I wouldn't be 100%. I'd have to check on it, but I think you do pay state tax on it.
Well, I may have wrong information.
Well, I could be wrong too. I may have it confused with something else, but
If a fleet can supply merchant with proper documentation of your tax exempt status, then it's a process on the call. So that was one of the arguments for it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we run when I was at Idaho. It is a good program. There's some other concerns that go along with my office as far as.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this, have Ashley apply for these cards? We'll get set up.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Actually, put everything in this packet. Okay, moving on down the agenda, after the Lex Fleet, there's a raffle and poker run license for the VFW. Fred, do you have an opportunity to take a look at this?
I did.
And then we'll go there.
Yeah, I think it leads us to the conversation later as far as the amendment to the ordinance. So
Yeah,
I don't know when you want to take that up, if you want to go ahead and deal with those raffles. They're fine as presented. They're for futuristic, after, the one is for after the other cleanup parts ends. So,
I'd like to go ahead and get these approved so that these entities know that they've got the licenses. But we do need to look at that policy and correct that.
Okay. Well, this is, the VFW post number 763 application is good, then make a motion that we approve the raffle and poker license for them.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Next one is a raffle and poker run license application for FOE. Right, you had
Yep,
Dr.
everything's good.
Okay,
Make a motion that we approve the raffle and poker run license application for the FOE number 2569.
Second.
roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Yeah.
Next on the new business. The sheriff had collected what looks like quite a bit of brass shells and had scrap those at Simcoe. And this money's going to be deposited in our general fund, but he made requests that we allocate that money to the shooting range. That's what this next item is. You guys have got any concerns, comments?
How much is it? Because I don't have that in front of me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim, it's 1,800.
We have a copy of that.
We have a copy of the check. Ashley's waiting to deposit the check. Make the 62.
Okay.
Do you have any questions or concerns? So motion to approve this and then transfer the funds, deposit this in the general fund and transfer those funds into the sheriff's range account.
Move to approve transfer of $1,853.30 general fund to the sheriff's shooting range account.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Yeah.
Brett, did you have the ordinance, the amendment to?
No, so I was talking to Commissioner Razor about this before the meeting, and we had never reached a conclusion on what we were gonna do with this. We are gonna do an annual license for the fiscal year, an annual license per calendar year, a per organization license, or exactly how you guys wanted to deal with it. If you remember the question that I had asked the first time this came up was, what was the purpose of the raffle license? And I think everybody said, well, it wasn't to make money. It was to know what's going on or who's having raffles. So if a citizen calls and says, is this raffle legitimate? The county board could legitimize it by saying, yes, they applied for this and this is what it is. So I don't know exactly what direction you guys want to go with this.
I know right now they're coming up to apply for a license on basically everything that they're doing. So if they have a Queen of Hearts drawing, as soon as somebody wins, they come back and they apply for their license. I guess, is that the same? It's basically for everything that they're doing, right?
Yeah, so right now, if they have benefit spaghetti dinner, you know, with raffle, et cetera, they come in, they get a license. If it's Queen of Hearts, they come and get a license. But some organizations are more active than others in getting the license. I have a feeling there's a fair amount that you guys probably are capturing altogether. But again, the question is, I think right now you guys charge $15 a license. So every time they come back, it's $15. They've attempted to do it as an annual one of saying we're going to have it continuous, and we've said no. You know, we need to know when it's active. But it's not for the $15. It's just so that we have
Just so that we know.
track of it. So that becomes the challenge, is if we do an annual license to an organization, I don't know that you'll know that there's what the active raffles are. Because what they pay for their license in January, for instance, they may know that they're gonna have the Queen Harvest, but we say there's a new raffle in October. How are you guys gonna be aware that there's a new raffle or fundraiser or anything else going on without an updated permit?
What's the consequences of somebody either not having one? Do you have any teeth in this at all?
I read through the state statute this morning to try and be a little better prepared. A couple of things struck me. One, the statute requires each date of an event. I think we've got 3 different things going on. One is we have an application here that says every Tuesday, raffle. I think, to me, that's well enough defined.
Creates the date, yeah.
A Queen of Hearts, I think, becomes a different case where they don't know when that second date is. They don't know when the first event is over, because those tend to run. And I think those, to fit the statute, you need another application.
One would argue it's still a Queen of Hearts, whether it's, the pot is a different size, it's still the Queen of Hearts. And I understand what you're saying, I don't disagree.
The applications, or the statute states, the application has to have the date of the payout on it. Well, they can't even do that with the Queen of Hearts, the way they run.
Correct.
But to me, it's enough different that it's 2 different games. And I don't know how many they run. I don't keep up with them, quite honestly. So I don't know how many one place would run in a year and how many applications we're talking about. The idea of an annual for a VFW that runs a raffle every Tuesday, I think an annual works great there. But then we also have the case just a month ago of a fundraiser for someone fighting cancer, I believe it was. That's going to be a one-time thing. We're going to license them the same. Because again, we're not trying to make money.
Right.
I mean, that's not the reason to do this. I assume the money taken in is to offset the clerical hours.
Yeah, I mean, like today's VFW, that was for a Queen of Hearts in anticipation of their current Queen of Hearts ending, so that they didn't have to miss a week or you know, to not have the drawing the following week after the Queen of Hearts gets approved. I mean, I certainly understand what you're saying, but and that's kind of the stance that I've taken with this, is we have to have date specific, not just this open ended. But then as we're getting repeats, I think the question came up of, is our system not proper, and that we should try to do some type of a global solution for certain ones.
Maybe like having an annual fee for Queen of Hearts, specifically Queen of Hearts.
I mean, that, to me, that's a big dollar one that the board wants to have better knowledge of.
I agree.
You get one that happened over in Steelville to where it was, the payout was 1.2 million. You're gonna wanna know when those funds are coming in.
And our current ordinance, I think it's section 9, I mentioned this last time, requires that we get a report from each one of these gross receipts. And as I've asked around, no one on this campus remembers ever seeing one of those reports. But certainly on the Queen of Hearts, I'm on the same page as you, and I think the dollar amounts get so big. It would be nice to see some reporting on those. Now, the Tuesday night raffle that is $100, but a $300,000 Queen of Hearts, I understand there was one somewhat locally recently. There needs to be some reporting on something like that. Do we have the ability to strike most of that reporting, but put a threshold in? Anything over $50,000 gets reported. We get a gross receipts payout, so forth and reported.
Well, I think with the Queen of Hearts, you could always put in the condition, we're gonna issue the permit, but we won't issue a successor permit unless the report is given as to the dollar amount. So then that would hold them at bay a little bit to where they would have to give you some account.
I like that.
They'll specifically break out the Queen of Hearts. What I don't want is, I don't want these organizations, if they're doing a 50-50 drawing on a Tuesday night for some reason, to have to come in here every single week or every single month to get a license for that. That's just, it's too burdensome. I don't want that. It's got that red tape. So are we thinking that maybe we break out the Queen of Hearts and have its own specific license?
I think so.
And then everybody else, everything else, until something else pops up like the Queen of Hearts, that has bigger payouts, and it's different. Can we do that then? But these poker run licenses, 50/50s, the raffle tickets, those kinds of things, stay on this license.
Certainly for the annual on, like in your example, a weekly 50/50, that should be covered under an annual. I do think there's another issue with a poker run that as long as it's the same route and the same locations, I think you're okay on one application. Because that's something that our first responders can use as well to know that there's going to be an increase in traffic, certain locations or whatever. And if we don't have that information, or they're working off of bad information from a previous and now it's changed, it may create an issue that we didn't anticipate. What we're thinking about the dollars, but there's a safety issue with those. And those sometimes put a lot of vehicles on some smaller roads. So the poker runs, if they're the same route, same stops, I'm still good with it. But if it's a different route and different stops, I think it needs a different license. Just so we're aware of where they are.
But I don't think the poker runs happen week after week. It's generally once in the spring, once in the fall type of situation if they happen. And you would add into not only the poker runs, but you would add in the Jeep runs and some of those as well. Because most of them are similar to the poker. Poker was traditionally the bikers, and then the Jeeps kind of got into some mix of it as well. Now, do we have any schools that run like the Dream fundraisers where you buy $100 ticket and then they've got drawings that it's, you know, the first week drawing is this. I know St. Andrews over in Murfreesboro, their Catholic school does that type of thing. I didn't know if any of the OLMC or any of those others around here.
That would be.
That would be city.
I know those are city.
Yeah, but Crab Orchard School, would be a good example.
Lincoln
In
School.
Corinth and School, in Johnson City.
Those are the bigger educational ones that I see.
Yeah.
If it's not an issue.
I'm not aware of any of that. They may be happening, it just,
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the easement, it is determined by where it's up. I think that's what it was stated. It's where it ends
I
up.
think it's a sponsoring entity.
I think we had this discussion a long time ago when she was here. I think it was whenever.
But I mean, the sponsoring entities is where it's gonna end.
So if it was ending in the county, started in a town, but in a county, then the county would need.
Well, I guess the question is, what's your definition of ending? The last place you pick up a card or where the hand is?
I've never been in a poker run, so I'm not quite sure how
I
they.
believe it's tied to where the payout is.
That's what I said, the sponsor of,
right,
you go to a different establishment, you get a card. And then after you go to the establishment, it's your best 5 cards, make sure you hand it, whoever's highest poker hand wins.
So that's where they end up, basically. They
Yeah.
complete your hand.
Yeah, which, like I said, is usually the sponsoring entity.
anything else on this?
Okay.
There's mud.
Brett, you have what you need.
I will take a stab at a draft and, try to present for the next meeting.
You think you might have that by next Tuesday?
That would be my hope.
Okay, Stephanie, make sure that gets on the agenda for next Tuesday. Thank you. Moving on down the agenda to public comment. Does anybody have a comment they'd like to make? James, you're here for something.
Oh, well, didn't know if I was gonna be called upon or if I was the.
Well, James, I did have James here. I was made aware of on our website the other day that we had, if you scroll down to the bottom of our website, there were some tabs that you could log on to. It says Connect with Williamson County. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it said Facebook, there was an Instagram, and there was a
Facebook,
Twitter.
Instagram, and Twitter.
And I was made aware that on the Facebook site, there were some posts that really weren't applicable to the county.
Yeah, and that's really the main reason why I'm here. We took care of the whole
We took care of
website.
that, and
Part portion
James
of it.
explained to me that something may have didn't happen.
So here's the problem. Williamson County doesn't have a Facebook page. Okay, so anytime anybody on Facebook says they're in Williamson County, Facebook has automatically created this hashtag @Williamson County thing, which means if you get somebody, a topless girl holding a cigarette that says in Williamson County, post it on Facebook, guess what? It's going on what the world thinks is your Facebook page. So I wanted to stop in and basically say, hey, can my branding department bill you for 3 or 4 hours to create an actual Williamson County Facebook page? Not we're gonna do anything with it, but just so we can claim the ownership of the name. So that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Because apparently at some point in the past, whoever was working on your website before took the Facebook link and thought that this Williamson County site, which is not really a site, was yours. So on the Williamson County page, it actually linked to that. That's when Jim calls up because there were girls posting themselves in Williamson County, and it looks like it's your page with all these girls on it. So we got rid of all the links to stop all that from happening. But in the meantime, it's still technically happening. So if you go to Facebook right now, it's just for Williamson County, Illinois, you're gonna find this thing that's not you guys. We just need to take ownership of it. And then when I was talking with the branding side, they said if you guys wanted to, when they've got the new website complete on your announcements page, anything that you guys post on that would just automatically get posted on Facebook. But nobody would ever respond to it. Nobody would respond to any messages from it or anything of the sort. It would just simply translate whatever goes on the announcements page to Facebook, basically showing ownership of Williamson County for Facebook. Once that happens, this other hashtag or at of Williamson County, they can actually request that Facebook take it down, which means all those pictures of girls will disappear. That's where this is coming from. And Brandon said, they bill you guys hourly for web stuff, but they said 3-4 hours, they can have it all built and done. And then they'll coordinate it with the new site. For when the new site's up, the announcements will go straight to Facebook, and that's it.
So how is this? So how is this page created or updated?
It's by people hashtagging being at Williamson County online.
Okay.
So it's nothing that we can stop unless we take ownership of Williamson County on Facebook.
Okay.
Saying that there's a real entity for it. It'd be like if I created a sandwich shop and, didn't claim anything on Facebook, but people start tagging the name, at the sub shop, right? Before you know it, it's built its own little page. It's only a following of people because that tag becomes available. You see what I'm saying? Nobody owns it. It's nothing, but it exists. It's a little weird to.
Yeah, there's 300.
That's how it happens, but that's what it looks like.
Okay. But it's got their phone number as well.
It's a little strange because it actually has a heading page. And it says a corner on there.
It has the picture on it. that
Right, it has a
indicates
picture on it and
that-
stuff too, but it's not a real page. So we're unsure exactly where it came from even. All I'm saying at this point is that Brandon knows that they can request Facebook take it down because it's not the official Williamson County page. Let's put it down. They know they can get it taken down, and that's what needs to happen. So,
My first concern is if we create a Facebook entity without a plan to adequately populate it, creating a headache. Because then the consumer is going to expect it to be populated, and it's not, and we're going to look like we're failing. All we're trying to do is lock down the press.
That's why I think the idea came from Brandon of having the announcements page that's on the website. Whenever anything gets posted to that, it automatically goes on the Facebook page creating new posts. So that way there's activity on it, but it all just comes from the website. And you guys at some point might determine you want to do something with it. Jim made a comment of, not wanting anybody to respond. It's not authorized to respond as Williamson County. So the idea is nobody really responds. We turn off all messaging and communication through it. It's just something that's there that gets a feed from the website, and that's it. So that way there's no miscommunication. And at some point in the future, if you guys wanted to do something more with it, at least it's there and we've claimed it and we own it. So. Because right now if you look at it, there's a 20-year-old girls all over the place.
But there was a link from our page, on the county website to that, right? And that's gone.
We removed them because somebody created it and actually put the link into that, which wasn't you guys. We didn't do it. It must have been somebody in our interim.
All the other social media links are gone.
We took them all off.
Just the mail, and it goes to benefits at Williamson County.
So we took them all off for now. It was the
Do we know
easiest
how long
thing.
that link exists?
Huh?
Do we know how long that link exists?
All I know is that we didn't put it up there when we originally built this site 5 years ago.
We could use the Wayback Machine, go back and check it.
But it still won't tell us who did it or why. So,
No, it'll just give us a time frame as to when it appeared first.
So,
I think we need to correct this issue. That's the direction that we need to go, I think that's the direction.
just claiming.
And then by claiming that there's no response, people can't post, they can't do anything on that page.
Correct. We could actually lock down all comments completely, so nobody can even comment on the announcements that you create. They're just announcements that come from the web page.
So I think Jim makes a good argument, if we have it and nothing's happening to it. It's not like we're failing somewhere.
I think it would be, to me, what's up there right now, when people search for Williamson County, is worse than having nothing up there. Because right now you're showing, girls with cigarettes in their hands laying in the beds and stuff, because people are tagging themselves. And who knows what they're going to be tagging themselves with in the future. It's going to keep growing. I would rather have a page that maybe it was just a picture of this building, it said Williamson County, with literally no comments, as opposed to having that. So, which one's the lesser of two evils?
I think, personally, I think we could probably. Have we have a better, like, cleanup day or like that, post that on there.
Yeah.
You could even invite businesses and hey, you know, post it on there as well.
Well, and again, it's all, I would put all that kind of stuff on your main webpage, on the announcement stuff that just
Right,
needs.
that's what I'm saying, on the announcements page. And then they would just go right on.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Randy didn't want me to tell you guys that for the new website, they're making an entire back-end control panel for it, so anybody can go in and actually add announcements or modify the pages without the possibility of somehow damaging part of the site or somebody else's portion of the site. Do you see what I'm saying?
When progress report is closed on the day, you know, besides the holidays, they have certain days that they are closed because of number of hours that they work or something. And it's not a holiday, they can put it on the announcements and it can be on there. They have a holiday. It's probably sound. How much stuff, that it won't be a great deal, but I mean, it's not.
To me, it's just more important, I think, to claim it and stop the pictures that are out there as opposed to.
That's part I'm interested in, the population part. I think we're doing it can. I think it becomes a burden on someone. I mean, I get you can automatically send over announcements. I just think it would have the potential to grow from that, and then it becomes a burden on someone who's not doing it right now.
The only thing I can suggest is turning off all comments, turning off everything so nobody can respond. Nothing ever gets created from it except for the announcements that come from the webpage.
That's a great place to start, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Did you agree to that, Jim?
We can't take a vote.
We can't officially take the vote.
Just something that's Jim asked me to show today to bring it up, to talk about it. So, any other questions on that? But I got one of your small thing.
Can you kick a formal?
Yeah.
Submission to the board
Yeah.
on prices, that way they can have something to vote on.
Just to.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Take care of it.
Give us a good description of what we're doing.
Sure. I'll put everything in basically we just talked about today, just the basics of what we're gonna do with it. So, any other questions about?
You see there's something else?
Yeah, I just want to thank, I know that my guys have been working with all of you guys at the department heads on computers and things like that. Need to make sure that we get all of those in because I'm putting them all under the original deal registration, you know, that we got with the circuit clerk for all of this hardware. So the more that is in there, the better pricing we get on everything. So this is a big opportunity. You know, I think we've got 45% off so far going on the hardware we've already got. So if there's anything else you guys want to throw into, we're gonna need to get it quick because I'm gonna get all the quotes from Dell. I gotta get it aligned to the deal registration. I gotta get it approved by you guys. And before you know it, here comes the money to fill the grant. I need to get all of that paid for at one time because it all has to be under that deal registration at Dell. It's just a great opportunity to save some money. So I'm just kind of putting a little bit of urgency on it that we're getting all the department heads together to make sure that if there's anything else we're gonna buy for it, we've got.
So that would include any, maybe like copier, print.
Copiers, printers, if you want things like televisions of that size or larger that are touchscreen, multi-touch, you know, things that projectors, I mean, you name it, Dell has a lot of stuff. So if there's anything you can think of, this is just the best cost savings opportunity right here because the amount of money is high. So higher we go, the more we save. Frankly, I'm already impressed at 45%. Normally we're like 18 to 26. It keeps going. Just want to let you guys know.
So is that discount pre-applied to what we have?
To all of the hardware that we've already quoted, yes. Any of the new stuff that I think we're still kind of getting odds and ends of computers for different departments. Then we have to go to Dell and say, no, we're going to add all of this equipment to the deal registration. And they go, okay, the total spend has gone up. So now we're increasing the discount. So it's important for us when we have that one shot down, when we're adding more equipment to really have everything and anything we could possibly want.
So I just got a quote from you guys on the equipment that the commissioners have talked about.
It's being redone.
It's being redone because that's not at 45 off.
Correct.
Okay. That was going to be a question.
Seth, I actually asked Seth earlier this morning, I said, you already did the commission. He said, yes. I go, you pause right now, because once we get all this other stuff, we're gonna lump the commissioner stuff with this other stuff, and then we're gonna try to get it all cheaper.
I did have some questions about that. I just want to run down those materials that we're looking at. I don't have it in front of me, but I'll give you a call.
Okay.
And we'll start going through that. Did you have any questions? Members?
I did, but I'll just reach out directly to Dean, so I can talk to you.
Okay, so we'll reach out to you.
One other piece of equipment I'm going to consider too is the copier in your office. The contract is expired already. So you probably want to keep that in mind.
As a purchase or as a lease?
Either or.
Same looks right now.
I think-
So I don't know if that would qualify.
Leases with, I don't think Dell has an actual program like that, they're more of a buy.
And it's a big copier, it's not your,
Yeah, it's,
They might have separate plans that we can work from for those on the lease directly with that. I've actually never gone with Dell before, it's leasing
Okay.
a large portion. So. Just not sure, I can find out. I can email our rep and say, can we do a, because I know all of the leases with all printers are based on the purchase price of what the unit would actually be. Right? So if we can get the printer for cheaper, but then put it under a lease with Dell, is that something that we can, I mean, I know Dell does leasing, directly hardware, but it won't be like what some of these, the printer places down here do, where they bring in the toner and they fix it. It won't be that, it'd be like leasing the hardware itself, somebody else still has to manage it.
we still
A little bit different.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Guys, I just found out this maybe 3 or 4 days ago. So my understanding was there was some kind of grant that you've done to decrease the cost of this equipment. Is this,
So what happened was, there's some departments that have gone together to get a grant through Justin Mays' office.
Okay.
With that, I was able to turn around because the dollar amount of the equipment was so high. I can turn to Dell and say, hey, we're spending more than $15,000, so I can make what's called a dealer registration. And it gives us a certain percentage off of whatever we're spending. So the more we spend with Dell, frankly, under this deal registration, the cheaper that I can get for whatever it is. And when the dollar amounts start climbing, Dell just starts giving me more percentages off on everything. So it ends up in just being a great opportunity to save money.
okay, all right, because I think Yvonne was getting a quote from you guys on some stuff.
Okay. I would reach out to Seth over there if you, he's our procurement officer, if you, whatever you might quote for you to add to the list. Okay, if you'd like, I can have him give you a call as well.
Yeah, I think Yvonne's already started this, so I'm gonna ask her if she's getting a quote from you.
I did hear Yvonne's name mentioned this morning. And I apologize, I had one of my best friends pass about 3 weeks ago, so I've been a little bit like hit and miss and not necessarily driving the ship for the last few weeks, so I'm a little bit out of it, so. So, yeah,
Thank you, James.
all good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. Take care. Down into miscellaneous. I spoke with the city, I spoke with one of the commissioners at the city and told them that what we were going to do was rescind the initial application and their agreement. And Brad has written up an agreement to rescind that ARPA agreement. What we don't want is 2 ARPA agreements sitting in some of the things that we have agreed to both of them, which we may not. And I don't know if you guys, you have this?
yes.
Okay. You guys see anything on this that you'd like to see change to cover it? Okay,
Yep.
so this is an agreement to rescind ARPA agreement between the city of Marion and New Hampshire County Board Whereas the city of Marion applied for ARPA funds distribution from the Williamson County Board. Whereas Williamson County Board awarded certain funds in the amount of $300,000 on September 14th, 2022. Whereas neither party is performing any part of the agreement, and whereas parties mutually desire to rescind the ARPA funds agreement entered into on September 14th, 2022, as if the agreement was never entered into. Therefore, the parties mutually agree that all terms of the agreement are rescinded, executed today, the 6th of March, 2024. I make a motion that we accept this agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Jay?
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
And I have a meeting with the mayor this afternoon, and we'll have to sign that at that point. All right, now, while we're still on ARPA, we have the city's replacement application for that $300,000. Did you guys have a chance to read through that? And that's going to be moving some sewer lines, I think it was a sewer and water lines over on the new roundabout at Wildcat Road. Either way, they've applied for that, asked us if we would help fund that project. Is there a motion to approve that ARPA agreement?
Okay.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Okay, I will send them the participation application agreement, and then we'll get that from them. That will be set. Any questions or anything else about that? Okay, I do have. That's all I have for ARPA. Does anybody else have anything for ARPA? Okay, travel reimbursement. I have 2 travel reimbursements for today. The first reimbursement is to Jim Marlowe. It was a meeting in Springfield on February 26th, 2024, for 376 miles and a total reimbursement of $251.92. I make a motion that we accept this travel reimbursement to Jim Marlowe for $251.92.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah,
Jim Marlowe.
Abstain.
Jim Razor.
I have another travel application. This is mine. Went to a conference in Springfield, February 26, 2024. I had 372 miles, and that reimbursement amount is $249.24. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Abstain?
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Thank you. Is there any road extension project news? Do we want to have that conversation? Or should we?
Just, there's been some additional communication with Jackson County through Travis. Baxter is requesting a partial release of funds, even though the project in relation to the county is not been completed. So my recommendation at this point is that we don't do anything until they show that they're moving on our side.
That is also my recommendation on that. We wait until they get us that side. Okay. Anything else on the road project? You guys have anything on health insurance, budgeting, and strategic planning? Is there anything else for this meeting? Anybody else like to say something?
Just to let you guys know, you've probably seen it, we're paving East Green this week. So it's pretty unusual first week of March to get paved. We are, so that's a good deal. We poured abutments and on the new bridge at DeWine, the Owens building. And we set beams on that next week. So that's moving along nicely.
You got all your pilings going in the ground, huh?
All pilings in there, yeah. So,
That is a loud day
yeah,
when you're doing that.
it can take very long. But yeah.
How far do you have to go down?
It's only about, 32 feet on one end and 25 on the other. Not too bad. So,
You have a reopening date for that?
well, so actually the bridge is gonna be done pretty quick, but they've got a pretty good fill on one end that's gotta be done, so it's just really depending when they get that done. We keep getting weather like we've been having, they'll get it done pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, and they've made their last pass under roads in Williamson County, so.
Excellent.
they're
That's it.
now- They're about maybe a half mile from pulling out of that last town and then moving in Franklin County. Need some side and stuff up there.
All right. So does anybody have anything else in this meeting today? Motion to adjourn? Right. Roll call, please.
Tim Matheson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Razor.
Okay.